Welcome to Deep Dives with Dr. John at the Kalamazoo Promise. Deep Dives with Dr. John provides opportunity for community members to come and share their story, to share their pathway, to share their journey, to inspire, to inform, and to connect members of the Kalamazoo community. Some of these individuals will be scholars, some of them will be alumni, and some of them will be community members who are serving as partners. Welcome to Deep Dives with Dr. John. Welcome to another edition of Deep Dive with Dr. John. This is an opportunity to talk with folks who are colleagues, who are friends, and who are part of the Kalamazoo Promise community. Today is special for me because not only do we get to talk to a colleague, a friend, but someone who's special to the Kalamazoo Promise community. And that is the one and only Amy Terzino.
I'm happy to be here, Dr. John.
Glad to have you. So I want to make sure that the space is open for you to share your story, share your journey. Just bring us into how you've arrived at this space, at this place, at this time. You can go as deep as you like. That's why we're going with deep dives. But you can go as shallow as you like. Now, I will follow up and ask other questions, unpacking some things that you share. So never feel like you have to tell it all because I'll be listening and writing some notes and asking follow-up questions. All right. Super. Okay, nice. For number one, if you can bring your mic a little bit closer, because we want to make sure that we hear everything that you're saying.
Okay.
All right. Nice. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I am the operations manager here at the Kalamazoo Promise. That is essentially office operations, and I support other team members with their specific projects and their specific initiatives, which is probably the biggest joy of my job, because I love being involved in so many of the projects here that are going on and helping students reach their promise. That's very, very special to me. My journey with the Promise started when it was announced. I was living in Chicago, and I was pregnant. And I remember the announcement and hearing it, I don't know how. I mean, it was obviously in regional news or something to that effect. And I said, wow, that would be so great for my child. I wish I could get that opportunity for my child. And I thought, and then in the back of my head, I said, wow, I wonder what a place like that would be like to work. You know, that would be really cool. And then we went, at that time in our life, we decided to move to California. So we packed up when I was about little over 8 months pregnant, moved to California, and that was where my daughter Ellen was born. And we lived there for 5 years. Mm-hmm. And then we had a moment in our lives where we just discovered we didn't know how to live on the West Coast. We had a wonderful time.
Where were you?
We were in San Diego. My husband was working at University of California at San Diego. And that's another part of my journey there too, is at that time in my life, I made the decision when I found out I was pregnant that I was going to take a year off. Mm-hmm. And I was going to spend that year with my daughter. So that was I wouldn't say midlife crisis, it was my midlife gift to myself. Mm. So that first year of her life, we just enjoyed each other and I enjoyed motherhood. It was wonderful. But after 5 years living in California and wildfires and earthquakes and natural disasters that I had not grown up with and did not understand, we decided to move back to the Midwest because we were fundamentally Midwesterners.
So where did you grow up?
Indiana. My husband and I are both from Indiana.
Which part?
I'm from southern Indiana. My husband's from northern Indiana. So we had that in common. And so we knew we wanted to be near family, and my husband's family is in the region. And Western, the job at Western for my husband came up, and it was perfect for us. because it would be near. My husband's father was not in the best of conditions, so we wanted to be near him. And then my sister-in-law and her family live in Saugatuck, so it was just ideal location-wise. And then I remembered the Promise, and I was like, wow, that could happen for my family. Because at the time we decided to move back, Ellen was just going to be going into kindergarten. So it was a deal sealer, when we were making choices. And so we decided to move to Kalamazoo, and I made a conscious choice when I was doing my job search when we moved back here to be a part of the community. I wanted to do something directly for and with the community. So I had the opportunity to work with United Way. And United Way gave me that first opportunity to excuse me, be able to meet and understand the Kalamazoo community and learn how beautiful and wonderful a place it is to live. Mm-hmm. So that's where we landed. And then Ellen started school in KPS and is 16 now.
Oh, wow. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. We just conquered the driver's license experience.
How was that?
That was a learning curve for me as well as my daughter, but she's an excellent driver. She's an excellent human being, actually. Choking up a little bit.
So making those decisions. So you heard the announcement.
Yes.
You're in Chicago.
Yes.
What were you doing at the time?
I was in the kitchen. I was probably on NPR, honestly, or something to that effect. I was probably listening to the news. And just, it makes you contemplate parenthood. And, when you have stories like that come up and how am I going to provide opportunity for my child at that time when she's making choices and wanting to go to college and wanting to dream and wanting to learn and embracing all that. I mean, I made all the assumptions that Ellen was going to be the type of person that would want to learn and want to go on to college. Mm-hmm. So it just made me think, well, how am I going to do that?
And so you made the choice. You all came back to Midwest, landed in Kalamazoo. So now you're a part of the Kalamazoo community. How did you decide where to live?
That's interesting. Well, a lot of that does come from being directed from a realtor. And we were at a disadvantage that we had one weekend to come out, find a place to live, and go and figure it out. The person that we were working with made the positive assumption that we wanted to have the Promise as a part of our experience. I don't know that we actually... I think we made the assumption that would be a given when we moved to Kalamazoo. So he exclusively showed us properties in Kalamazoo, and we landed in the Winchell neighborhood. And our experience in KPS has been exceptional. From Winchell to Maple Street to Loring Arcs. And Ellen has had just a tremendous experience all along the way.
So you mentioned the opportunity for you to support your daughter, not only in her educational journey and learning academics, but also just having the opportunity for her to dream and to imagine and for you to be able to support her in that. So what has that been like?
So when I came to work for the Promise, that was certainly an opportunity for me and to continue my journey of giving back to the community or having the opportunity to facilitate that and, help others give back to the community and the Promise give back to the community. What the Promise has done for me and my family and just the dynamic, it's allowed our family to dream. and especially Ellen, given her the opportunity to think beyond limitations, and just to be able to find her joy and find her where she finds that fun and move forward and move toward that. I don't think if we didn't have the promise in the back of our head, we would be that casual about choices. Or casual is the wrong word. That we would be more stressed. We would be more concerned. We would be more afraid.
So having a promise has helped to relieve and reduce or remove some of those concerns or fears.
Yes. It's allowed as parents to be a part of her joyful journey. And that's been a wonderful gift.
Okay, so now that you've opened that up, so let's unpack that a little bit. So what have been some of Ellen's dreams or aspirations, or what's her journey been like toward utilizing her promise?
You know, that's really interesting because Ellen is a musical theater geek. I don't think she'd be mad if I said that. And, you know, the community itself fundamentally has so many resources for that pursuit and that journey, from the opportunities given to the community through the Gilmore Foundation, the EFA program and KPS. There are so many, and there's fundamentally so many arts organizations in this community that just make that sort of a given. And it's interesting because I feel like when Ellen someday goes outside of the Kalamazoo community, she's going to go, wait a minute, there's not, more than one theater in this community. And I mean, live theater right. in this community. And there's not, she's going to have expectations of what culture and the arts are in a community. And it's based around all the wonderful opportunities and the wonderful resources in Kalamazoo. So she began in middle school at Maple Street to just love the theater and perform. And in that space, she had such support from her teachers. And the choir program, Julie Davis was just incredibly supportive to her and taught her so much about music. She's also been a huge. She's been a student at Crescendo, pretty much Crescendo Arts Academy in Kalamazoo, pretty much ever since she was in the 4th grade.
Wow.
Maybe. And she started with violin, not her best thing, but she can't be great at everything. And then she's moved on to voice, piano, and guitar, and all opportunities available through Crescendo. And she's also been fortunate enough to take advantage of the EFA grant that's available to students that are studying music, that is through the Gilmore Foundation. And that has been such a resource for our family, to another one, to help her pursue what she enjoys. So she's had many opportunities for lessons and dance through Ballet Arts, which is another community partner that's just tremendous about what they do. And now in Laurie Norris High School and their theater program, it's just been a path that hasn't required many bridges. It's been a pretty seamless journey in this community to help her take her where or point her toward the direction she wants to go. We haven't, I don't know if she'll ever land wherever that is, but as long as she's doing something that is creative and something that is fun and something that is joyful for her, that's what I want.
So music and theater aficionado. We'll unpack the geek part. I'm a self-proclaimed and proud nerd, geek, technology, music, all those things. So I feel what you're saying and what you mean. So with her being in music and theater, what has she performed in? Where has she shown her talent and shared it with the community?
Well, she really enjoys singing and she enjoys dancing. She is currently rehearsing to be Belle in Beauty and the Beast at Center Stage Theater, which is just a dream come true for her. It's just, that's where she's geeking out about it, because the idea of being a thinking, reading princess for young women. Mm-hmm. I know there's still a little bit of the Disney stereotype of things going on there, but she actively carries her Jane Austen book bag to every rehearsal and makes it very clear that she is a thinking princess and an empowered princess. But she's enjoying that, and she's also performed in the theater program at Laura Norrick's. She was in Something Rotten, and she played Bee there this past year, and that was just so much fun to be back in the theater, performing live, being out of
the virtual space of performances, right?
Yeah, and I think that elevated just the experience of being isolated for so long. Really elevated her appreciation for performing, and she sees it more as a gift than she ever has before, to be able to do those things. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where we've landed now. Mm-hmm. We are starting our journey for college and starting conversations about where we're going to go and where we're going to apply, what are we going to visit, and so that's the next step. She does want to pursue musical theater in college, and we'll see where that goes.
You're rolling with this. This is good stuff. So we're talking about parental perspectives, and so you were sharing on the conversations that you're having, but there were conversations that happened prior that allowed or gave space or support for her to know, like, hey, I can go all in. How did you engage in that? So for parents who are watching and for students who are watching, who have these ideas, who have these dreams that may be non-traditional academic paths, but we have the promise. So like we mentioned, you can dream and step outside of those traditional boundaries and express what your feelings and desires are. How did you get to that conversation? When did it start?
Very early. I was very intentional about watching where she found joy, where she found fun. And when she said, I want to learn how to do that, I would think, okay, let's make that happen. So when she said at a very early age that I want to learn how to play the violin, okay, let's make it happen. And we had the resources in the community to do that. And then that just led to the next thing. So she found an understanding of music and what music looks like, feels like, and an understanding of how you can express yourself through music. And that led to the next opportunity in, middle school and learning how to sing and how to sight read music. And so that was another level of music and another level of learning how to express oneself through music. And then theater happened, and musical theater, and learning about musical theater. It's just a whole new world opens up to you when you have that interest, because there's such a history, and there's such a future, and there's such a now. And Hamilton was happening during that time, and just a whole new revolution of of understanding musical theater and excitement. I remember every middle school, kid knew all the lyrics to the whole show.
To Hamilton,
we
right.
would be cruising with her best friend, and they would sing the whole. Like if we went on a long road trip, up north, they'd do the whole show in the car, in the back seat, and that was joyful. And so I paid attention to what she enjoyed, what she was, moving toward. And, the ironic thing, or I don't know if it's ironic, is that she's always been a good student in the, in all the STEM stuff too. Like I didn't sacrifice, or we didn't sacrifice, or she didn't sacrifice, not learning the other stuff along the way too. So it just made her want to go to school even more because she found opportunities that she was interested in, but she also took advantage of all the other learning as well. And became a tremendous student.
So you found a way to make it and both.
Exactly.
So you didn't have to sacrifice one or the other. You found a way to merge it in a total person.
I truly believe that learning music and learning that helps you learn other things. I really believe in that concept and that science. And I think she would be a good subject. I wish we'd done maybe some brain scans early in life and, contrast and compare. But I really do believe that music helps you learn other things.
So this music and theater that she embraced, was that something that you planted? Are you musically inclined? Are you the theater?
My husband and I are both theater geeks. So, I often have to check myself as, am I pushing her because of things that I'm interested in, or I'm, wishing on her? I mean, that's always a parental fear, is that are you doing something? Is she trying to make you happy? Or, you got to check to see if she's trying to make you happy or if she's trying to make herself happy. So yes, my husband and I are both theater geeks. My husband's uncle lived on the Lower East Side of New York City. And he would go visit him, when he was young, all through his life. And not the thing I thought I'd get choked up on. But he provided my husband the opportunity to see so many shows, so many seriously good artists, and took him to not just the mainstream stuff, the off Broadway. He was the cool uncle, and so I think that's probably one of the key components of why he and I were drawn together, is we both had this love for musical theater and theater.
So how did you all meet?
Very, very, not the greatest story, but I had a friend in college, and she was in love with this person at IU. I went to a small private college in southern Indiana, and she needed a wingman to go express this emotion to this young man at a graduation party. And I said, okay, I will be your wingman. Let's go do this. And so I really, wanted it to work out for her. It didn't work out for her, but I met my husband there, and we had great chemistry from the beginning. Can't say enough good things about my husband. He's a tremendous human being. And we've been married. I also had to ask him this morning this question. Was like, how long have we been married? Oh, yeah. So we've been married 31 years in July.
Oh,
yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so it's been a journey, and a really, really wonderful one.
So theater is running through the family, and it's found its way with the daughter. What brings you joy? You mentioned joy a lot, and finding joy and supporting and embracing and encouraging joy. What brings you joy?
Well, I I find a lot of joy here at the Promise. I find a lot of joy working here. And I think part of that, we have so many Promise scholars that have come to work here at the Promise, and that provides me a tremendous amount of joy. The energy and the excitement from young people is intoxicating. And seeing the young Promise professionals that I work with really do their stuff and do what they love and do what finds them joy is really, really special. And being able to support that is really, really special. And, you know, we were joking around with Jake and how he's been a part of my joy and my journey here. And so also finding, you know, building these relationships with your colleagues. I've never had relationships with colleagues like I have at the Promise. It is a deeper and more profound experience as far as colleagues go, at least from my perspective. And that is a tremendous gift. And I find I'm incredibly grateful for that.
So you mentioned Jake, and him being part of your journey. And we were talking a little bit off camera before we started. And I share with both of you that when it came up, if it came up, I would dive a little deeper and ask a little bit more. So what about Jacob? And in previous episodes, we talked about Jacob is always here. He's always with us. Even though he's not on camera, he's always here. And his mic is on. You know, he's doing all the important things for people that matter, you know. And his mic is on. And so...
You talking about me?
Yeah, I'm talking about you, man.
Hey, what's up?
He doesn't have a camera on him, but you can hear his voice. So in previous episode, we've talked about him always been here. So you mentioned him. So tell me more about that colleague, that Promise professional, and that relationship that's established. Tell me more.
Yeah, so when I came to work at the Promise, and I think it was 2015, it was Bob, Vaughn, and myself. And I came on to work. I worked with communities and schools and the Promise. Soon after that, Jake came in as an intern and started working for the Promise as an intern. So he and I worked very closely together with supporting the scholarship administration. And I remember he's always had my back. He's always had my back. From the beginning, when I was just getting trying to get my sea legs on some of the importing and some of the technical aspect of the scholarship administration. And I had done a student import, and Jake was following up with doing the next step of that. And he found like a huge mistake that I had made. And he found it, he showed it, he shared it, and it was something he and I had to clean up together. So he helped me clean up that, and we were going line by line and line by line. So we got to know each other pretty well with that project. But he had my back, and we did that together. So we've been problem solving together for a very long time. And, you know, even I know a lot of organizations had difficulties during the pandemic, you know, and being isolated.
We say something here that there are no tears, just sometimes your eye breaks.
Yeah, my eye's totally broken.
So it
Sorry.
breaks and it leaks a little bit, so
Yeah.
you're all good.
So you know, isolation during the pandemic and working from home, that was hard, you know, especially from somebody like me who really does not like to work from the home space. And so Jake had my back then too, you know, always checking in, always making sure, you know, the collaboration between the two of us And being able to work together really was really powerful during that time. And just being able to work together and create and make things happen. And now that we've, moving on to now, we're still collaborating. We're still having a lot of fun. He's like kaboom blossomed into this amazing human. I mean, he was an amazing human, but he's doing so many great things now, especially with the Promise. And to be able to still tag along is really another gift to me. So, yeah.
Nice. Kaboom blossomed. I'm going to make a shirt for Jacob that says Kaboom blossomed. And just supporting and tagging in on that and just giving an amen in a second, that's just the type of person that I found him to be also, so for 5 years maybe, just this genuine person, real cool, laid back, but super meticulous and precise, supportive, informed. He's a tech guru. He's a tech geek. I think we bonded on that in a lot of ways. And this podcast, in so many ways, is representative of that. So, and just full disclosure, I am also an employee here at the Kalamazoo Promise, and knowing that the folks here are genuine, and seeing and hearing how they've moved within the community, how they've moved within their schooling, and now they're professionals, and they found ways to merge that together. It's really awesome. It's really awesome stuff. So I definitely feel what you're saying and agree. Not that you need that. No.
Affirmation is always good.
It's still good stuff. So we're talking still again, parental perspectives for and from the Promise. What would be a cheat sheet of sorts for parents on how to better understand the Promise and better support their young person in utilizing their Promise scholarship?
It is just stay engaged the whole way. Try to stay engaged and look out for opportunity, because this community provides opportunity, and stay connected. And if you don't see opportunity, come to the Promise, ask, or call the Promise. We can provide suggestions, and all along the journey. One of the things about the Promise is that we want to accomplish is to help parents and to help students all along the journey to get to the Promise and use the Promise. But and when we say the Promise, it's so amazing now how many different ways you can use the Promise. So it's not just a bachelor's degree program. You can use it with trade programs. You can use it with and get stackable credentials. You can do so many different things now. I think that maybe be the cheat sheet thing for parents is that we share all the different ways, all the different opportunities, and early, and help parents see all the different ways early, so that when they see that joy, when they see that sparkle in their child, they can go, oh wow, okay, so maybe we can use the Promise in that way, and maybe we can support our child here and now, and that will get them to the next step and to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So I guess that would be my advice to parents is just pay attention, find out what's possible with the Promise, find out and watch what your child is doing and what brings them joy. Nice.
Is there anything that I haven't asked that you want to make sure that is shared, lifted up?
I think we're good.
Do you have any questions for me? It can never be a one-way street, so I have to go both ways.
Well, we have to definitely continue our conversation around musical theater and music, because I know you are a music geek as well.
I am.
So I would enjoy continuing that conversation.
That would be cool. Yeah. And I appreciated you introducing my daughter Joelle to your aunt, and just for them to be able to meet, and you sharing and talking with Joelle a lot, because Joelle, she's leaning into her musical and theatrical ability.
Well, talk about another young person that sparkles. Joelle sparkles for sure.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make my eye break. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm not gonna leak on the closeout. So if there's nothing else, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you, period, and definitely appreciate you stopping in for a deep dive with Dr. John, sharing a little bit about the parental perspective. If there's nothing else, we appreciate you, and we'll sign out. This has been Deep Dives with Dr. John at the Kalamazoo Promise with my colleague and friend, Amy Terzino.
Thank you.
I am young and I am positive.
I am the future and I'm going to tell it like it is.
I will not let anything stand in my way. My eyes are on the Kalamazoo Promise and they're going to stay that way.
That future. That future. That future. That future.
With my Kalamazoo Promise, I hope to get a life and make a job, and I hope to achieve something. I want to have money and an education after this.
CAPS, or Community Advocates for Parents and Students, is an after-school enrichment program that focuses on providing additional academic support for students of all backgrounds. We started it after the announcement of the Kalamazoo Promise to really try to make the playing field a little bit more equitable for students who may not come from a great deal of means, but who has the same passion and energy towards wanting to obtain their promise.
CAPS means a lot to me, like the trips we get to go on, the little games that we play and everything, and then it's just, again, the people here.
And the CAPS community really represents what's possible when you have a consistent set of caring adults who are really behind young people and believe in their full potential. The connections that the CAPS students are making is going to be lifelong. They're going to always remember the relationships because it's really a family, grassroots environment. Our staff and volunteers are going to go beyond for CAPS students, and being able to be so closely aligned with the work of the Kalamazoo Promise and making sure that all students are able to fulfill that pathway. We're going to be around for years to come.